Hey there guys, welcome to my introduction to tricking series. My name is Andrew Bennett from trickingbasics.com, and today we're going to be going over the mindset that you should have with tricking. Some attitudes and beliefs that will help you along your tricking journey. Alright, so the first thing I want to start out with is you should be training on a regular basis. This goes without being said, but it is the number one thing that will help you improve fastest, unquestionably. So make it a habit, train on a regular basis, 3 times a week. It's good. That's all you need. That's pretty much all there is to that. I get a lot of beginners who ask me, how do I start tricking? What are some basics I can do? Can I trick if I've never tricked before? If I have no background in anything else like tricking? One thing to remember is that there are a lot of really good trickers who started with no background. I don't know if you've ever heard of Velu, but this guy, Velu, started tricking with 0 background. Tim Farley's another one. I can't really think of any more off the top of my head.
But what about this guy, Rasmus Ott?
But there are loads of trickers who've all started from little experience. And quite frankly, coming from a martial arts background, I don't think it helped too much. It seems to me that everyone who tricks on a regular basis is at about the same level, regardless of their background. So that's something to keep in mind, regardless of whatever you might think your excuse is why you can't trick. Pretty much everyone who tricks progressed at the exact same level. So that's something to keep in mind. So as long as you're consistent and you're practicing on a regular basis, you're going to be about as good as everyone else. It just takes time. I think it's important to be positive in your tricking. Being positive is going to make your sessions a whole lot better. It's a huge motivator. It's the reason why I love tricking on a regular basis, because I just enjoy it so much, and one of the reasons it's so enjoyable is because I'm positive about it. It's important to be unconditional about your tricking. Try not to be too attached to the outcome. I see a lot of beginners who are too hard on themselves, and I don't think that's a healthy mindset to have. You should just be happy. Just be happy that you're tricking. Have fun with it. Don't worry about what happens. You're getting better by default, so just play around with it. You're just playing. Just have fun. If you're hard on yourself, you're going to be subconsciously punishing yourself for the thing that you're doing, which is tricking, right? So in the end, it's going to slow you down. Shyness is something that I struggle with personally, and I see a lot of other trickers struggle with it. It's there isn't too much of a reason to be shy, really. The more often you get yourself into situations where you are shy, the more you'll realize that it's not really that big of a deal. No one really cares. I used to have this fear when I went to gyms that everyone would be watching me. And no one really cares, from what I notice. To this day, I don't like training outdoors too much, unless I'm with friends, because it's tricking is flashy. It does attract a bit of attention. So one thing I like doing is going to the gym. That's how I got over my shyness. Went to the gym on a regular basis. The more I tricked, the less shy I was about it. So it just really came down to me facing my shyness, going to a place where tricking is acceptable, and realizing that it's not really that big of a deal. Fear is something that can hold us back unconsciously. If you can't pinpoint the reason why you don't want to do something, it could be fear. I think the best way to face your fear is to overcome your fear is to face it. kind of like shadows. And to do this, I think it's best to take baby steps. Take it one day at a time, but be consistent about it. For example, with a back tuck, it's a really scary trick. The best way to learn a back tuck is just to practice it every day. Take it little by little, whatever you need to do, just take little steps with it. Also be comfortable with falling. Falling is something that develops your aerial awareness. It's an important skill to learn as a tricker because you don't land everything. So be comfortable with falling, being okay with it. As a beginner, you're probably not going to be jumping crazy high, so the chances of you getting hurt are going to be much lower because the injuries usually happen on the landing. But mastering the art of falling is a very good skill to have. There are going to be obstacles that you're going to face in your tricking journey. It's up to you if you want to overcome them or not. Every injury is an opportunity to make yourself stronger. Perfectionism is a tough one for me because I'm a pretty hardcore perfectionist. Perfectionism is the last thing that you're going to achieve on the tricking totem pole of accomplishments. The way landing most tricks works is first you learn a trick, then you drill it, then you land it, and then you drill it some more, you get comfortable with it, and you add some power, and then once you've done that enough times, you can make it as perfect as you want, and it's wonderful. It's the crystallization of tricking. So as a beginner, don't hold yourself to these high standards. Don't expect your trick to be perfect. If you landed a trick for the first time, be happy with that. Be ecstatic. Don't beat yourself up because your trick wasn't perfect for your first time. You know what I mean? The best trickers have perfect tricks because they've been doing it for so many years. If you hold yourself to these high standards, you're just not going to be happy. And personally, that's not the way I want to trick. I don't think that's a healthy way to trick. It's like I said earlier, it's subconsciously punishing yourself for something that you did. So if you are upset when you land a trick, why would you want to land anymore, right? With that being said, I think filming yourself is a good idea because even though you might not like the way you look now, when you look back in a few years, you're going to look at your tricks now and you're going to look back and you're like, wow, I've come so far, and it's going to be massively rewarding. One thing that I do to overcome my perfectionism is I have a little notebook right here, actually. It's a little notebook, and I just write down all my little successes, my little achievements, anything I did that I hadn't done before, right? Whether it's, I did a flip faster or better, or I did a swing through that I'd never done, a combo I'd never done before, I did a kick sharper, faster, anything. Any little improvement or an improvement on something I haven't done in a long time. Not necessarily just landing tricks. It makes every session a win session because I look at my notebook and I'll write down 10, 15 things, and I'm like, oh dude, look at all these cool things I did, all these improvements I made. Whereas I think a lot of people just think, did I land anything today? And landing is just one piece of the puzzle, it's just one part of the equation, and it doesn't happen very often. So I like having a notebook, which lets me write down I can just chart out all my improvements that I made, and makes things a whole lot better. Failure is something that you should be okay with. I mean, you're gonna fail. It's part of the deal. It's all right. But don't beat yourself up on it. I boiled it down to 2 ways I think that are good ways to think about failure. Number one is you can think about it all right, well, if I want to get to this goal, I have to fail this many times to get there, right? I think the other way is to work towards your goal and focus only on your successes. Kind of the same idea. just different ways of looking at it, different perspectives. But use whichever one works for you. The important thing is that you're okay with failure. Lastly, why do you trick? Why is tricking important to you? You know, I've thought about it deeply, philosophically, meditated on it, and you know what it comes down to? It's fun and I think it's cool. That's it. Those are the two only reasons I could come up with. And so if I keep that in mind when I'm going to my sessions, that is ultimately the goal. If I leave a session and I'm feeling good, I'm happy, I had fun, and I was doing good, that's all that counts. That's all that matters. So like all these tips that I've given you so far, those are just things that line me up to make my sessions the most fun and awesome they can be. On top of that, having fun, being in the right mental state is going to make your tricking way better. If you are full of energy, positive, and energetic, you're going to go slamming through your tricks and it's going to be awesome. It's just going to like spiral upwards. Likewise, if you're just doing one trick over and over and over again and you're getting frustrated and you're tired and beat up, you're not going to have a good session. So I think it's important to have a good mental state of mind. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Those are my ideas about having the right mindset in tricking. Hope they helped. See you in the next video. Thanks.